Hello, YouTube. We're back. Okay, so it looks like that we were able to get this piece done no problem here. And I just need to get that sewn. You can see it looks nice. And then when we stitch this and this, which will go with the hinge, then this will all be lined up and look symmetric. So, and that's what we're shooting for. The original design, before I modified it, didn't come with this pocket. They didn't do this stitching here. It was smaller. It didn't work right. The bills didn't fit right, and so I had to kind of like totally revamp this. So when I did, it just became my design because I had to really kind of redo it from the ground up. So, but it was worth taking on because I liked the idea. So, where the idea wasn't originally mine, the design is. So, so we'll go ahead and yeah, I did purchase the idea. So it's mine to do with what I want. I don't have to worry about it. Doesn't matter. So I like to do things that are upfront, above board, ethical. And that's just the way I like to operate. Always have. So there we go. So we'll just go ahead and get a little a little tokonol put on that this side here. Just like we did this other side here. We'll go ahead and give it a quick burnishing here with our wood slicker. Until we hear that special helicopter sound. And then we know that all of those fibers are melting together and forming a nice end. Yeah, there we go. Looks good. I like it. And even though we didn't have to put any kind of because this was struck through on the paint, or the oil dye, I should say, which means it's all the way through to the inside, so that when you cut it, it's not white. Therefore, we didn't have to put a oil-based dye or a water-based dye. I usually use oil-based dyes. Technically, we won't have to protect it from getting on somebody's clothes, which would be to put some sort of edge coating on here, which a lot of times I will put the gloss. But in this case, I think the gloss gives it a little extra pizzazz. And so I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. It does take a little extra time, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. And while this is drying, I've already got us picked out another item that we can do. And so we could go ahead while this is drying and start on our next project. So while this is drying, and then come back to this once this is dry. It won't take it long to dry. This dries pretty quick. So this is a clear edge gloss by Uniters. Okay, it's one I like to use. Does a very good job. Seals the edge. Typically, in the leather world, around your edges you would put like a beeswax on your edges, and the beeswax would protect your leather edges from water, any type of salt, or like it would pick up off your skin, or any contaminants that's out there, sweat, things like that that would get into your leather and start to damage it or make it swell or unwell. So how does that look? Looks pretty good, huh? Okay. So we'll stick that on top of here to dry. Okay. And then go ahead and get our next piece, which is this interior piece, which we had done. And we had done this piece here. And we had done this round edge top here. And these are going to be the pieces that once we get it going and put it together and sandwich it, that we won't have a real good opportunity to seal it with an edge coating without getting messy and getting all over other parts of the wallet. So that's why you do these now. So anything that you've stitched or anything that you are not going to have access to once you get the wallet complete or put in the next step, you want to go ahead and put your edge finishing on. So there we go. So now we'll set that aside to dry. That's all we need to do. Wipe up the little mess we have here. And there we have it. That's that. We'll empty this back into the jar. This jar is almost empty. I got a new one already because I love this stuff. It's really good. I had used the Tandy one before. I don't know that it did all that great. It seemed to at first, it seemed to age quite quickly, seemed to water out and separate. There was another one that I used by EcoFlow. I still have some of that. It just doesn't seem to do as well. This Uniters is really nice. And I'm going to tell you, you can buy this Uniters at District Leather Supply. They're really good people to work with. I've recently asked them to see if they would sponsor my videos, and if they wanted, if I could be an affiliate for them, because that's how the world works, and that's how we all make a couple pennies here and a couple pennies there, and once you put it all together, you make a dollar. So, because you can't make it all in one swipe. Okay, especially in the leather business, there's not a lot of money in it. A lot of people think there are, but there's not more a lot that you think. If you're a bigger company and you're established, then yeah, you can, especially if you're a distributor and you're dealing with some big time people that do a lot of stuff like Alden shoes and places like that, then yeah, you're talking millions and millions of dollars. But for the most part, most small to medium businesses in the leather businesses, they're not making a ton of money or a get rich money. And it's tough to sell real leather goods because sometimes, but it is what it is. I'm not trying to discourage anyone, but we need more people to do this. But and then I think more people would appreciate it. But there's a lot of people that are out there that are willing to buy leather products, and when they do and they see your prices and your products, they're happy to whip out the wallet and pay what you want. That's no problem. It's the people that are uneducated. They think that you're too high, but you got labor and parts. Those are the two big things. And I always tell them, if I'm paying myself $20 an hour, okay, because you can get $20 an hour almost anywhere, right? And it takes me 5 hours to make a wallet or 6. That's $100 to $120 just in labor. That doesn't include taxes, yada yada yada. Okay. So therefore, that product, before we talk about parts, is already going to be about 120 bucks. Now, as you start getting bigger orders, and if they want it a little less expensive and they don't care about the handmade quality, then you can start using machines to do stitching, or you can start outsourcing part of it, or blah 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 blah. Then you can start making you know some dollars in um, you know volume. Okay. But if you want to keep it small and you want to keep it like I did, I mean, you can still make money at it, don't get me wrong, and you could make a living at it. And but you're not going to get rich overnight. It's going to take you a couple years to build yourself up there. And what I'm saying is you got to fight your way through these battles with the clients. But once you get a client base established, even like I did, I was out there for a few years. Once I had people that bought one or two wallets from me, they would come back time and time and time again and buy 3, 4. I think the most I had purchased from me was one client had purchased 10 wallets from me. Yeah. So, and I had a New York Police Department detective. He bought a wallet and ended up paying $1,500 for that wallet, but he wanted it all alligator. He wanted his badge to go in it, and it got more expensive because it got big. He he needed it to flip. He had to have ID. He had to have this, that. He had to have his badge in the middle. And it started making it a little thicker, which he didn't care because he put it in his coat pocket. But he wanted it all handmade, all out of alligator, and he wanted all hand stitched. And that's what he got. And I gave him all the discounts I could, but it still ended up costing him about 1,500 bucks. Now, in the real world, if he'd had some of the bigger companies, leather companies, charge him for that, he would have paid $3,000 to $5,000 for that wallet. So, yeah. So once you get into this, you can start finding bigger clientele. And the biggest thing is you can get into clientele. And I just tell you a little secret, but eventually it's just going to come out in my course that I'm going to teach how to start a leather business from start to finish. Okay. But another way is to call some of the bigger companies, maybe whether they be locally in your area or nationwide. And a lot of times they give out awards for people that's been there a certain amount of years, or people that are retiring, or people that's got 20 years or 10 years or whatever their anniversary is, or they want to give clients little knickknacks and special gifts, and maybe a client that spent $10 million with them, they want to give them something really nice. You can go in there and present to them, how about a very nice, handmade wallet. First off, you can't go to the store and buy a handmade hand stitch wallet. Second off, you're not going to usually buy the leathers that I'm going to show you and even show you where to get them anywhere out there in the market. So they're going to be very few and far between. It's going to be very specialized for you. And so you can tell them that. You can say, look, you're not going to be able to get this. And this is what I told my customers. You cannot get this leather anywhere else. This is a special leather. This is top of the line leather. By the way, genuine leather is bottom of the barrel. And it's not even real leather all the way through. And so I'd educate them about the leather. Uh, Top grain leather is what Gucci and all those folks use. Okay. And what I sell and teach my students to use is full grain leather, and that's better than top grain leather. And a lot of times it's sought after by leather aficionados that really love the leather. They love the patina. They love uh, the little scarring and the personalization of the leather and things like that. So that's what you're going to get from my courses that I'm going to teach and where I'm going to teach you to get the stuff. But District Leather Supply, there's a free give me for you. They do a really good job. I'm seeing if they will partner up with me. They do a lot of stuff. They're going to start doing some build alongs, but they haven't developed that side of their business. I may help them do that. I don't know. I'm asking them at this point.